Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Full of personality. Switching up the storyline on God, we making history. Writing books, changing lives, one day at a time. Put your problems to the side. Enjoy yourself. Free your mind. Kicking it with KeKe.
What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, life, love, and all that other shit. I am your host, award-winning author KeKe Chanel. I am also a certified life coach that specializes in personal development. This is the overall theme of my podcast. I believe that when we change our minds, our lives change for the better. Today, I am joined with my special guest, Hope Coach. Listen, she is here. She is ready. She has a word for you guys. So, y'all know how I do. I like to give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves. So, I will bring you in, love. How you doing?
All
And I'll
right.
give you the opportunity to tell the people who you are and what you do.
All right, guys. I am your inspirational hope coach Q. And I am excited to be here on this platform. What I do is I help people take their life that they have today, transform it into the life that they know they deserve with strategies and techniques and a little fun along the way.
I love that. I love that. And before I met you, I had never heard of an inspirational hope coach. I was intrigued by that title, and I'm like, I need to know more. I need to know more. So, what inspired you to become an inspirational hope coach?
Well, I've been in the hair industry for about 24 years
Mhm.
and also in the area of ministry. And I was always the exalter. I was always
Mm.
the person that was like, you see somebody in the corner shouting, and I'm like, yes, yes, praise them, give it to them.
Yeah.
And I just was like, it's something that lights up in me that fills my cup when I see other people getting their purpose, getting what they need from God or
Mhm.
getting what they need in life. Like it just does something for me to see people do that. And people always say, you're so inspirational. Or I would tell somebody to do something and they would be like, I never thought of that,
Mm.
And so it was just happen, naturally that over time, I would encourage people. I have clients that will come in and they literally would be broken, like they would be
Right.
crying. I never forget I had a client to go through something at work where
Mhm.
her boss was literally verbally abusing her
Mm.
about her hair, about what she looked like, about her weight, just about who she was.
Mhm.
And I was able to empower her, and she got the courage to stand up to him. Now, later on, she did go and get another job. But when I say she left there another person, and
Wow.
she was able to be in this person's presence and still be her and still stand up and still have the nerve, the gall, the audacity to be
Yes.
who she was supposed to be. And, that's just one of the things that begin to let me know, hey, you know what? Maybe there's something to that being inspirational. Now, the hope part came, I stood up in my, you get out of the bed and you're laying there and you get out of the bed and I literally heard hope. And I
Mm.
was like, what? What? Like, and I was like, and I believe in the story in the Bible, it said, when you hear God and you don't know what's going on, you lay back down. Listen,
Mm.
I had to get some more of that. I was like, God, what are
What?
you saying?
Yeah.
You are saying something. And he literally gave me the word hope. And that's what we do in inspiration. You give people hope. But not
Absolutely.
only that, he broke it down even further. He said, other people elevate.
Mm.
And that's where the hope part comes from.
Hope.
Because when you get to a certain point,
Uh-huh.
in the air, I'll never forget, God literally gave me my hope back. He inspired me. I was at a low point in my life and I hadn't been in an airplane since I was a child.
Mhm.
And I was like, I really need to take this vacation. I really need to take this break. I got in the plane and God began to speak to me and he began to, I looked down and I sat beside the window. Now listen, I'm terrified.
Uh-huh.
So I'm sitting beside the window and I'm looking down and God says, you see that down there? And basically, God began to say, that's how big your problems are.
Oh,
Everything that you were going through, you left it right down there.
wow.
And God also showed me as we ascended on the other side, he said, and you want me to worry about that little piece of paper sitting on your coffee table. And when I'm sitting, where I'm sitting, this is what I see. If you can
Wow.
rise above it, you can make it through it. When you
Oh,
realize how small that bill would look, that small, that thing you're stressing out, that coworker, those things are, when you realize how small they really are, how minute they really are, how big the world is,
mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, if I rise above it, it doesn't even matter. Like it don't hit the same.
Right.
It's not as scary. The big
Mhm.
bad wolf, if you standing up on you in the sky, if you're elevated, it's like, what are you
Oh,
doing?
yes, yes.
You can look at it, shrug your shoulders, there's nothing that you can do to me because I'm up here. And so you begin to learn how to breathe and how to live in the elevated place.
I
So
love
that's
that.
what I started doing.
Oh my God. And I love the acronym helping other people elevate hope.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
that. And so that
Yeah.
brings us to our topic for today, living out loud.
Yes.
Like, and we've mentioned this a while, and that's how, like, I saw you on somebody's live. I don't know who it was, and you were talking about being unapologetically you, and
Mhm.
something that you said that resonated with me, and I bring that into my daily life. After I heard you say that, I purposely drove to those words that you said.
Wow.
If I make somebody uncomfortable by being who I am, that's not my problem. That's theirs.
That's not your
And
stuff.
I'm like, you know
You
what? She
can't
is
carry that.
absolutely right. Like, for
Yes,
real.
it doesn't belong to you. And that's the problem with a lot of us. We're carrying around things and concerned about things that aren't even our situation. They're not our issue. And
Mhm.
we've allowed them to leave, we've been the mailbox, and they come and they dump that mail on your porch, and it's
Yep.
overflowing, and they're just dumping it. And then you look at it and you like, why am I feeling overwhelmed? I don't
Mhm.
have any issues. No, you don't. But
Right.
you allowed everybody else to bring their garbage,
Mhm.
their junk mail, because that's what it is,
That's what it
to
is.
your door. And
Mhm.
they literally turned you in. You're like, wait a minute, I was a mailbox. I was taking things in and putting things out, and I was flowing, incoming and outgoing. And now what's going on? Because now you don't have room to put anything in or to
Right.
take anything out.
Right. Wow. Yes. And then, like, I was going through it, and I had to realize, like, you and Dr. H and Rich Auntie and a lot of other ladies that I'm connected with, guys as well from our community, helped me
Yeah.
realize that. And I knew that. I just needed to hear it being said out loud, that you cannot carry other people's pain. And I
Mhm.
realized that that's what I was doing.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the thing. Now there's a place for that. Don't
Mm-hmm.
get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that biblically it said we have to carry one another's burden. But
Right.
I just can't leave it here. I
Right.
have to have somewhere to take it. So
Yes.
now I have to elevate with it. I
Yeah.
have to take it up
Uh-huh.
so that I'm not dealing with it. Because if I deal with it here, it's a mess. It's chaotic. And
And you
so
get
now I'm
stuck. You
looking
can
at
get
it
stuck there.
in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
now I'm heavy. Now I'm weighty. I'm like, why every time she called me, I get so tired?
Yes.
Why, why every time they say something to me, I'm just drained, and I hang up the phone and I'm like, oh,
Uh-huh.
well, that's because we have not done what he's told us to do, which is help other people elevate. So
Mhm.
now we take their stuff and we send it up.
Yes.
We do everything up. If we do it up, if we, then we don't have to carry it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
living out loud, man. I love this topic, and I love you. What does living out loud mean to you? Like, when you think of living out loud, what does that mean to you?
Living out loud to me is being loud, being happy, like, and I've always been the person literally that's in the room and I'm the loudest person in the room, right?
Mm. Mhm.
Like, I am happy, I'm excited. Like, I saw a lady at the pharmacy earlier, and she was like, hello. And I was like, hey girl, how you doing? You doing all right today? And she was like, oh, oh, oh.
You about to scare that woman to death.
She literally was like, and she was like, oh, I'm good. But her tone changed. So it
Mm.
gave her permission to be loud, to be
Yes.
present in that moment. Like, you matter, your voice matters. And
Right.
so speaking out loud to me, it's taking your power back. It's where you have that moment where you're like, listen, I have been, not I've not been showing up. I've not been giving everybody everything that they deserve, which is all of me, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a whole lot. And I
Mm-hmm.
had to come to grips with that, because for a long time, my family and others around me and just life in general, they tried to quiet me. And I was like, I was like, oh, well, maybe I am too much. Maybe I say too much. Maybe I should, and then I began to second guess myself. But then those were the things that they always said they loved about me. And I was like, wait a
Right.
minute, something is wrong with this picture.
Uh-huh.
Something is not right about this. They say that's great, but then they scold me and don't want to do it. But I had to realize it was because of their lack thereof.
Mm.
They weren't that way, and they needed it and they enjoyed it. They wanted to profit from it, but they did not. It sometimes intimidated them. It made
Right.
them feel a type of way. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, baby, that I can't, that's a personal problem. Like, I can't be responsible for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just learned to show up and be okay in the skin that I am in.
I
Like, and I
love
like,
that.
I'm loud, I'm colorful, I'm happy, I'm smiling. Sometimes I'm silly, I'm crazy
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, but I love to laugh and I love people, and I want to see everybody that I know succeed. Like, even my haters, like
Oh,
all of them, like I'm that person. Like, you be like, you mad at me? I be like, you mad? You big mad. Oh, don't be
big
mad.
man. Hey.
And so, and I'm literally the person that if you're mad at me, don't be where I am, because you won't really be mad, because I'm gonna be nice to you.
I'm gonna
I'm
be
gonna
nice
love
to
you.
you and I'm gonna take it up a notch because you there.
What? I'm gonna love the hell out of you. Do you
Yes,
hear me?
literally.
Girl, hey, give me a
Hey,
hug. How you
yes.
doing?
Mm,
You gonna be if you was already mad, you in trouble.
right. And listen, I love it. I love it. I don't think we should apologize for living our best self and, living as our best self and being the person that God called us to be. And sometimes it takes others, longer to tap into that. And I'm so glad that
Right.
you tapped into that because the world needs this energy, man. You have that big
Listen.
energy, your smile, and it's all contagious, man. Like when I see you come on the screen, some of the lives that we're on, I'm like, hey, there she go. There she go. I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
we need
because
that.
sometimes the energy be like, it be like let me tell you my pet peeve, and I'll share this with you and the millions of people that's listening. Monotone anything
Oh,
drives me crazy.
mm,
Like, literally the beep. No, please don't do that. Don't come in here talking like that. Don't be coming here with that energy.
yeah.
Like, don't come in here with that. Look, you can't preach to me. You can't talk to me. You can't show me nothing. No, ma'am, I can't do your hair till you get yourself together.
Get
Like,
yourself
literally,
together. Yeah.
I had to stop clients at the door because
Mm,
they brought that energy in. They
mhm.
walk in and they're like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, hey, oh,
Yeah.
do we need to go back out and try it again? Like, I'm that teacher. Like, are
Uh-huh.
you okay? Let's go outside. I'm gonna go with you this time.
Right.
And
Right.
we'll go back in another way. Because what happens is, because I'm empathic,
Mhm.
and I carry people, I have
Mhm.
to protect my peace
Me
so
too.
that I don't leave heavy or sad or wearing any of that stuff when they're.
Exactly.
So I take it on my responsibility as the inspirational hope coach
Mm,
at this point, to give them hope, to let them know, hey, it's all right. It's gonna get better.
mhm.
It's gonna get better.
It,
Because if you can think about a situation, and we all can do it, and I tell people, do this exercise in your mind. Go think about a place where you are Bill, or a situation where you was just like, I am not gonna make it. God, if you don't get me out of this, then I just, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. I'm gonna be homeless. I'm gonna be all the things. I'm gonna be, we're gonna break up. It's gonna be a divorce. It's gonna be, and we think about all those things. And now I want you to think about the time that's passed since
mm,
those things happened.
mhm.
You were at that point and you didn't think you were going to make it, but
Right.
you made it.
Yeah, you're here.
But
You're
you're
in a
here
new
now,
different space. Right.
in a different space, in a
Mhm.
different mindset.
Mhm.
So time evolves. And when you evolve and now you've risen above it because you made it, you can use that as, I call it, using it for fuel. Because
Yes.
those are the things that give you, like, the jet fuel that
Mhm.
push you up above it,
Mhm.
because you're like, okay, but if you stay there, that and you just, whoa, 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 it's me. But there was something that took place, whether you saw it or recognized it or not, that allowed you to rise above it, to
Right.
make it to the next level.
I
And we
love
just got
it.
to keep going back and pulling those things so that we can keep going. So they'll keep fueling us and elevating us.
Absolutely. I love that. And so what do you believe the benefits are for living out loud? Like living your life out loud?
Complete, unapologetic, like freedom. It's freedom to me. It's freedom because, when you're walking around in a box, like, listen, I'm a big girl and I'm proud of it. But if you put me in a box, it need to be a real big box, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So what people try to do, they try to put me in a ring box. And I'm a whole snack over here. I'm not going in that ring box.
Hey, she said she a whole snack. Y'all hear that?
Don't do it, okay? Listen, it's not going to work.
Right.
So it's uncomfortable when you talking about putting something big in a small box. So to me, it's freeing. It's like, that feeling you get when you come home, you've been working all day, you was tired, and then you take your bra off.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Like that. You know what I mean? It's like,
yes, I get it. Yes.
Listen, that feeling you feel right before you get ready to get in the shower and you took everything off.
Yes.
Everything off, and you standing there in that moment and you like, whew.
You can exhale.
Listen, because I'm telling you, sometimes you just have to take off the weight. It literally, it is in those moments, those seconds in life where you like, whew, I was trying to be something that I wasn't. Like, but guess what? When you're free and you like, I don't care.
Right.
I'm bound by that. Like, I was too loud for you. Turn your ears down. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes. Hey.
So, but I had to be okay with that, and that's a process. It's a process.
It's a process.
Don't get me wrong. And you have to take responsibility for your life.
You have
to take responsibility and say, listen, I've been dummying down and I'm done. So when I got married 10 years ago, I'm getting ready to celebrate my 10-year anniversary.
Hey.
I remember the point in where I said, okay, we're about to do this. It was the happiest point in my life because what I realized, and if you ever been married in a serious relationship, you'll get it. I was like, I ain't got to pretend no more. Like, I ain't got to, he liked me with my lipstick on, with my wig on, with my wig off, like, with my waist trainer on or with my waist trainer off. Like, really?
Yes.
But I loved my husband because he was so genuine. He was the one person in the one space that I could be all of me in. Like,
that's awesome.
All of me. I could be authentic me. I could fuss. I could cry. I could do all the things right there in front of him. And he never treated me any different.
Right.
He never loved me less. And so to me, that's the epitome of living out loud, because I literally for a long time, as sometimes I hope this helps some of the single women. Sometimes we walk around as a presentation. We walk around as what we want people to see. And then when they see the real you, then they don't want you no more.
Exactly.
Because you showed up with your representative and not who you truly were.
And you can't put on that you can't fake that for too long. At some point, the real you gonna shine through.
Let me tell you something the Bible says. How about this? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yes.
So if it's in your heart, if it's in you, if it's, it's just like the spaghetti sauce. If it's in there, listen, like Frigo said, it's in there.
It's in there.
It's coming out.
All right.
It's coming out. You put a little heat to it. You put a little heat to it. Oh, it's coming out. It's
coming
gonna show
out.
Up.
Yes.
What it say? When the funk hit the fan, you're gonna be like, well,
what is that?
She was like that. I didn't know she was like, I didn't know that's them. Yeah.
That's them. Yeah.
And I tell people, like, even now, I'm concealed and carry. Honey, I carry a pistol on a regular basis. Listen,
I'm about to get mine.
Listen, I'm too fat to fight. I just, people just listen. I'm too cute to be scratched. You can't be scratching in my face. Listen, I might fall and break something. You might tip me over, and it might be over for me.
Wait a minute.
Queena,
yeah. Look, did y'all hear that? Listen, Queena says that she is too fat to fight.
Girl. Listen, when you fall down and you this big, you don't come up the same no more. Okay. Listen, once you mess around and break an ankle or wrist or something,
it gets serious. Listen, like I tell people all the time, I'm too pretty to fight. I don't do all that. I don't do all that. But I don't.
But I will.
Don't get it twisted. Like for real, I'll go there, but I don't do all that
Maria.
talking. I don't do all
Uh-uh.
that talking. Like for what? What we
Uh-uh.
talking for? Because if it
Mm-mm.
if it comes to that point where you get me out of my element, out of my
Yeah.
character, what we talking for? Like for real?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now
So
I'm really living out
yeah.
loud. Now
Oh,
I'm like
I'm living out louder. How about that? I'm louder. I'm
louder.
gonna be the
Okay.
loudest bitch in this room. How about that?
What that do? Okay.
Real.
Yeah.
For real.
So yeah, and then you know what? Living out loud to me is embracing your voice, like
Oh.
not being afraid of your voice. I've been a singer all of my life. Like literally, when I left my senior year in school, I had 4 course classes, and I
Mm-hmm.
had English and a science. I think it is
Mm-hmm.
English and a math. That's what it was because I had to have that. And but I've always been a singer,
Mm-hmm.
but I never really put stock in what I had to say.
Yeah.
I was singing the words and, I was, showing off and, oh, there, you sing great. And I'll never forget the person that let me know that I had a voice. Um, and he was my former pastor. And he said to me, he said, yes, you sing beautifully. He said, but I need you to know that there's more. You have something to say.
Mm. Mm. Wow. So you were
And I,
singing and didn't have the emotion behind it?
and I said, wow. I
Yeah.
literally could sing and people would just be crying, falling out on the floor, exalting and and I would be like, wow, and that did something for me
Mm-hmm.
because that was the platform I used to inspire people.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wanted to go deeper. I
Yeah.
knew there was something more.
Yeah.
And I felt like, sometimes as a singer, they put you in a box. They say, oh, can you do praise and worship?
Uh-huh.
Can sing the song, but if you want to read the scripture, they like, no, baby, we got somebody for that. No,
Uh-huh.
you don't have to speak. We got somebody for that.
You
You
just
stay
stay
over
over
there.
there and sing.
You did it real good. So
Uh-huh.
just stay over there and
Right.
do that really good
Right.
thing that you act.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the really good thing is not where you're supposed to be.
Come on. Say that. Say
Sometimes
that. Say that again to someone who was listening. That need.
sometimes the really good thing that you do, that thing you're gifted at, that thing that doesn't challenge you, that thing you can do in your sleep, forwards and backwards. It's not where you're supposed to be.
Somebody needed to hear that, like for real. Somebody needed to hear that because that right there gave me goosebumps. So many times I've seen people, I've been one of those people that
Yes.
did it because everybody said that I was good at it.
Yeah.
I was so unfulfilled.
Yes.
And so I found myself, you know what? I was running from my purpose, but my purpose never ran away from me.
Mm-mm.
It was just right there where
Right
I'm
there
trying
all
to do
along.
everything else, but it's just right
It's literally like right there.
there.
And somebody is in that space where they're like, if you just look to the left, you're looking in the air, you're looking all around, you looking under the table,
Yeah.
but it's literally
It's
right
right
there.
there,
And
like
if
a
you turn, and sometimes we don't want to do that because we have to face the fact that we haven't been doing what we know we were supposed to be doing.
absolutely.
That's a hard
Oh,
place when you really
oh.
have to take responsibility for knowing what you were supposed to do and you didn't do it.
Listen, I'm looking at this quote by Coco Chanel, and I love her. And I want to read it to you, and you tell me what you think about her words.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you think about me. I don't think about you at all.
Shabbat.
Y'all see the
Glory.
quote right here.
Look, that sat down in the center city of my soul. Do you hear me?
Oh, yes.
But we have to not care. We
Mm-hmm.
have to embrace ourselves and matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we've been so concerned and overwhelmed with everybody else's thoughts, what everybody else was doing, that
Mm-hmm.
we didn't take the time to think about what we thought.
Right.
And so, or what we felt, or what was good to us, or real to us. And when the moment you say, I don't care anymore, you really begin to care
Mm-hmm.
about the moment that you don't care what they think or what they say, and you're not thinking about that. Everything in your life begins to align.
Yes. You experienced that shift.
You experience the shift. And guess what happens when the people that you have been shifting, and the people who have been depending on you to show up for them and be there for them. I always tell people, if I always show up, you never get the opportunity to miss me. You
Oh,
don't realize that the person that was always there is not there until they're not.
oh, and see, that's good. That's good because I tell people all the time, people don't value your presence in their life, but they will see when you're absent in their life.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we
And
have to.
that's what we have to require.
Mhm.
Listen, I've been watching I think his name is Kevin Gates, I think. He's a rapper.
Oh
Used
yeah.
to be. But he said something that was so powerful. He said, I will not be no longer tolerated in this season. I
Mm.
won't be tolerated. I'll be celebrated.
Mhm.
And I was
That's
like,
woo.
whoa,
Woo.
wait a minute. Cause some people are just tolerate you. They like she loud. She just show up doing all this stuff. Here she is. She got on all them colors. And I don't know who she thinks she is.
Uh-huh.
It reminds me of the color purple. You
Mm.
remember he said when he was sitting at the table, he said, what you gonna do? Sweep out the caboose?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
literally, you're talking about the person you was sleeping with, you was married to, you was with for years. They was always there.
Mhm.
You couldn't cook food for them. You couldn't do nothing without them.
Without them. Mhm.
That you needed,
Mhm.
but you literally feel like that they have no
Nothing.
value.
Mhm. But you
So
don't want to. You didn't want her to leave though. They don't want you to leave. They don't value
no,
you, but they don't want you to leave.
but they'll devalue you in order for you not to see who you really are.
Absolutely, because they want you to stay. They taking your power. And as long as you don't love yourself and know who you are, you give them power. And I tell people this all the time, and I have this in my memoir that's coming out. It's my journey to self-love, and it's called Finding the Sun. I couldn't find the sun until I became the sun because I didn't love
Wow.
myself at all. I didn't love myself, so I allowed other people to love on me. And that caused me a lot of heartache, pain, unnecessary bullshit that I accepted.
Set yourself up for failure.
Absolutely. But I thank God that even though I was in my mess, he did not take his hands off me. I'm so grateful.
Woo!
Even when I was telling people that was closest to me, no, I don't need you to pray for me, pray for yourself. He
Okay.
still did not take his hands off me.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just
Because it's
saying, you know what?
personal.
Uh-huh. You know me. You know me and you know what you're doing. And you know that it's not right. So go ahead and do this while you're doing it. But I'm gonna be right here when you come back. Because you're gonna come back.
When you're ready.
I'm gonna be here. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that God is not like man,
Mm-hmm.
because ain't no telling where I would be.
Listen, let me tell you something. If that, and when the book comes out, you'll understand. But I often tell the story about you can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
Mm,
Listen, but it's a lie.
mm-hmm.
It was a lie. Because I was out there looking for love in all the wrong places. I wasn't trying to be a hoe. Listen,
Right.
that was just, something that happened. That was
Happen.
just,
Mm-hmm.
a side effect from
Mm-hmm.
looking for love. Listen,
Yeah.
look, hoism is a side effect from looking for love. This I gotta write that down. That's a good one right there.
Write that down. That's a word. Hey.
Listen, but when I really begin to love myself, and that's how my husband became my husband, is because he was the first person to look at me and say, I love you. You know what happened? I literally looked at him, and people laugh about the moment. I said, my mouth immediately went dry. I was like, I'm thirsty. You thirsty? You want something to drink?
Uh-huh.
He said, no. I said, okay, I'm going to the store. I'll be right back.
Oh, Lord.
I
You
was
left and
gone
went
for
to the store?
I was gone for 6 weeks. Okay. Because I
Six
was so
weeks.
distraught. Listen, I wouldn't answer the phone. I wouldn't do anything. I was so distraught because when he told me he loved me, I believed it.
Oh, so
I
you
had never done
ran.
that before.
You ran.
Never experienced somebody telling me they love me, and I
And
believe it.
this girl said she ran for 6 weeks.
I didn't talk to him for 6 weeks. I didn't answer the phone. I didn't, listen, if I thought over there, I was not going that way.
Yeah. But he
And
st- but he stayed. He stayed.
listen, let me tell you something. When that book comes out, listen, it's gonna make a sister a millionaire, trillionaire.
Hey, we claiming it.
Literally, we had almost a 10-year courtship. We've
Mm,
only been married 10 years.
mm.
So 10 years prior to that, I was in my 20s when I met him.
Okay.
We didn't get married until my late 30s.
Uh-huh.
So it took that long for me to, he told me I was a runner. You know that song.
Runaway
She's a
Bride.
runner, she's a track
Oh
star.
yeah, that was you.
Listen, that was me. I was a runner, I was a track star, baby.
Okay.
Literally. And I literally took the moment and I was, still doing life, still running my own salon, still out in the public. But, from the public eye, the public point of view, I was thriving, but I was literally suffering on the inside when it came to my personal life.
Wow.
I was on top of my game in my business. It looked like, I had everything together. And I literally would go home and I would dread. People would be like, girl, what you doing out this late? Because when I went home, there was nobody there and I had to listen to me.
Yeah.
I had to hear the voices. I had to hear the void of what wasn't there and what I wasn't allowing to be there.
Right.
And so when I decided, I took a day one day and somebody talked to me, I think a pastor, he was doing a sermon about atonement. And he was talking about atonement, making atonement and apologizing and allowing people to apologize and allowing yourself to forgive. And I wrote a list, and this is going to be in the book. So make sure you go and get it. And I wrote a list of people who had loved me and I didn't love them back.
Oh, wow.
And when I wrote the list, my husband currently his name literally was at the bottom. His name was the last name that I had to, on this atonement journey. And I called everybody. I spoke to everybody. I saw who I could see. And I literally told them, I want to apologize to you. I said, because I took your love for granted.
Wow.
And I said, and because I did not love myself, I did not have the capacity to receive what you were trying to give me.
Absolutely. Wow, that's a powerful story. That's powerful. And so how did the outcome? Did everybody forgive you? Like, what did they say?
So, a lot of, when somebody said something to you like that at first, you're like, girl, you tripping. I got a lot of, girl, you crazy. Ain't nobody said, whatever. And then I had a lot of people to go, wow. And they turned around and apologized. So it compelled them to apologize for how they did me after I responded to the way for them trying to love me and how I responded afterwards. Wow. So it was a lot of healing took place. I got to my husband's name, and this is the powerful part in it. I literally called him and he said, hey, how are you doing? Now we were friends, so we was cool. You got that person. Hey, what you doing? You want to go to lunch? I need to talk to you. And because we never broke up on bad terms, we never didn't speak, on bad terms. I hadn't seen him in about a year. And he says, I said, hey, can I take you to lunch? What you doing? And he said, well, I'm out of town. I'm in New York. And I said, oh, okay, what part? He said, about 17 hours away. I'm in upper New York. I said, oh, all right. I said, you having a good time when you coming back? And he said, I'm not, I live here.
Wow. Wow.
What? And then I had to take my mind back to the time when he told me that he was moving. And I was like, boy, bye, you love me. You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that's what I said to him. I was like, you been here like 9-8 years, whatever. And he said to me, I live here and I'm not coming back. And I was like, what? And so I began to go through my spiel and apologize and tell him why I wanted to talk to him. We literally had such great conversation. We talked every day for 6 months. Wow. And I opened a salon. I began to do all of these things, just began to fall in line in my life. And he was still there. And I tell people, God got a sense of humor, so make sure you do people right.
Oh, what?
Listen, so I told him, he had asked me 7 years ago to marry him. And I literally watched a movie, a Tyler Perry movie. And the young lady said to the man, and I said to my husband, who is my husband now, I said to Stu, I said, can you ask me again? I think I'm ready to answer. And he said, what? He said, you want me to ask you, because he knew exactly what I was talking about. I said, just ask me again. I'm ready to answer. And so he said, Queena McKee, will you marry me? And I said, yes. And will you come home? Because 17 hours is just too far away.
So far.
Listen, we tried everything we could to get that man home. Everything was not working out. The reason why I said God has a sense of humor is literally I had to literally rent a car, rent a truck, and drive 17 hours one way to pick him up. I brought him back, and we've been married 10 years. And he is
Ooh,
my best friend.
I love it.
He is
I
my best
love
friend.
it. I
And
love
I'm
that.
telling you, living out loud was, even in that, I had to have a live out loud situation.
Yeah.
Because I had, my family was like, "You doing what? You going to get a man? He ain't got no job. What does he got? What is he gonna come back here? You run your own business. You got it going on." And I was thinking, and I'm failing miserably in my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Miserably in my
Right.
personal life.
Right.
And you was okay when I was bringing somebody different home every Christmas, but now I want to bring the same one home on Christmas, and there's a problem.
That.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we ain't even gonna touch that. So you know what I mean? When you was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we see him last week. Oh, where he at?
Uh,
He gone?" Yeah, I went to see another man about a mattress. Listen, I'm
right.
not doing it. You know. so when you she's like, "What?" So
I got it.
when you embrace the fact of, like, and the responsibilities of life that you did to yourself, is
Mm.
so freeing. Like,
Yes.
living out loud, I had to overcome. We are the only married couple in my family in my state.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you just said something, and that brings me to this next point I would like to talk about with you, like making your life your responsibility and stop blaming others.
Mm-hmm.
Like when
Yeah.
you sat with yourself, when you had to go home to that quiet house and listen to that void,
Mm-hmm.
listen to your thoughts, and even listening to God. Like
Yeah.
you had to take responsibility. So
I had to take.
when did you stop? Like, I don't even know if you blamed anybody else. Did you blame anybody else for some of the things that was happening in your life? Or did you just own it, like take responsibility yourself?
Girl, I blame the dog, the cat, the bird. I blame the
Everybody.
hamster, everybody. I
Uh-huh.
did. I was like, "Y'all did this to me." My mom, my dad wasn't here, my blah, blah, blah. And I just decided, I was like, "You know what? I can't live in that trauma.
Yeah.
I can't live in that place. That place is no." And guess what? The crazy part about it was I made that place up
Mm.
because it was comfortable to me to be in
Abs-
that place.
yep.
I could blame everybody else and I could be the victim.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have to have the authority of being the victor.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
didn't have to say, "Listen, I got to show up." You allowed them to do that to you. You didn't have to. You could have stood up for yourself. Especially when you go in, that you standing right there in front of them, and
Right.
then you go in the other room and you call somebody on the phone and you tell them what you could have told them. Well, why you ain't tell them? They was right there.
Right there. Yeah.
Why you? They was
Yeah.
right there.
Right.
You were so passionate. You know how we do. We do, like, we standing there in front of them and we mad. We got all kinds of attitude. We got all kinds of hurt. And we go and we tell somebody else because we want to get somebody else on our bandwagon. We
Uh-huh.
want to come to our pity party
Yep.
with us and
Yep.
celebrate the fact that we was defeated again.
Again. Mm-hmm.
No. Nope, nope. And that's why I tell people I don't do pity parties. So when I coach people and I talk to people, I literally, we get all the things out on the table.
Mm-hmm.
We get naked and not
You,
ashamed.
you
Like,
have
we
to.
get naked and we go in depth, because if you never address it, if you never deal with it, you can never heal from it, and you can
Ab-
never even get over it.
absolutely.
You can
Mm.
never even get over it, because some stuff you mad at and you ain't even acknowledging that you mad about it no more. And until somebody brings it up and brings it out, you be like, "Oh, I am still mad at him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I am still mad about that."
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you got to say, "Yeah, doggone it, I'm mad."
Yep.
And take responsibility for that. Like,
Yeah.
there's freedom in saying, "You know what, that hurt
I'm
my
mad.
feelings. I'm
Yes.
mad about it. You
Exactly.
know, don't do that no more." And until we get to that place, we need people to help us to get there.
Mm-hmm.
We need people to pull those things out of us, because it's not always that you're gonna get that on your own.
Right.
I have a coach. I'm a coach, but I have a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, and unfortunately, we as a culture, we act like counseling is like the word cancer.
I don't. I'm thankful that I don't. But yeah, most people
Yes,
that I
but
know.
culturally and
Oh yeah.
like our ancestors, if you went to the
Oh,
counselor, baby, they was about to put you in the crazy house.
you don't talk about therapy. You don't talk about
Counseling,
mental
therapy,
health.
what?
Like what?
Oh my
No,
God.
no.
You might
They
as
not.
well have been talking about roots and other stuff like
Don't talk about
witchcraft.
him. We
They
know
be like,
he's just a little touched, baby. He gonna be all right. No, he got a mental illness from unprotected or you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
undealt with traumas.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. There you go.
And then we, sweep it under the rug. We know Uncle JoJo touched him, but he gonna be all right. He just a little different. What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We know his mama yelled at him all the time, but that's why he cried and depressed and sad. And,
Yep.
we just beat it out of him.
Oh
What?
yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
So, in my family, it was literally, don't say, don't tell, you know. And what happened was, and even with my mom, I will say that literally it was a facade. Like everything looked good, and
Uh-huh.
it was blingy, and it was, it was
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, and
Mm-hmm.
because we're in the beauty industry. So my
Right.
mom was a stylist as well. So
Okay.
we're in the beauty industry, baby. We could put on a beat, honey, and some good hair, and everything was all right.
Everything was all right.
But under here, honey, when you took that hair off and
Yeah.
when you took that makeup off,
Mm,
you literally were dealing with brokenness.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
was broken. It was a mess under there. Literally,
Mhm.
it was literally like, I don't know if you ever saw what is it? It's an old movie, and it was called The Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
Literally, that's what
Yes.
we were
What?
walking around like, and they would get in their house and they would take all the stuff off, the skin and everything.
Yep.
And you would be like, oh, that is a monster. Well, some of us have been the monster, but we walk around with the paint on that makes it look like we're okay. And we're
Yes.
a mess.
You
I
walking around
tell,
here looking like the model, but you're the monster underneath all that stuff.
ooh, you know
Yeah.
what? Say that
Yes.
one more time.
You walking around here looking like a model, but you're a monster underneath all this stuff.
Monster at the same time. So
Yes.
there is a book, my favorite book, and I never, sometimes your life, it shows you things and you be like, I didn't know that's why I like that so much. But there was a book, and it was a Sesame Street book, and it was about the Cookie Monster. And
Mhm.
he was, it was a book, and it was probably maybe 20 pages long. When the book, in the beginning of the book, it was called The Monster at the End of the Book.
Mm.
And so the monster at the end of the book started off with Cookie Monster eating cookies, and he's like, hey, how are you? I'm Cookie Monster. He introduces himself, and he says, well, listen, don't turn the page, because they told me it's a monster at the end of this book. And so then you turn the page, and he's like getting more afraid, and he's like eating the cookies, and he's like hiding, and he's like doing all this stuff. And he's like, no, 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 please, please, please. I'm
Don't turn
really
it.
afraid. Don't turn the page. And you keep turning the pages, and you're turning the pages. And then right before the end of it, literally, Cookie Monster has gotten in the garbage can. Cookie Monster is like, I am done. I
Hiding.
cannot do this.
Yeah.
He is hiding. He under the bed. He everywhere. And then you turn to the end of the book, and you see Cookie Monster peek his head out, and he says, oh, wait a minute. It's okay. I'm the monster at the end of the book.
Wow.
The monster that
Wow.
we're afraid of
Is
is
you.
us.
Uh-huh.
We're the monster at the end of the book. Y'all, I was 13 when I used to make my mama read this book, and I literally would be sitting there under the covers like,
Yeah.
oh God, what
I don't think I've ever read that book. I'm gonna have to get that book.
Listen, you
That
got
is
to
powerful.
look it up. You should be able to find it on Amazon, but
Yeah.
it's called The Monster at the End of the
End of the
Book.
book.
And it was Cookie Monster. But he was like, my name's Cookie.
Uh-huh.
And, he was introduced himself as, this really nice person. But he
Mhm.
was the
He
monster.
was
How
the
many of
monster.
us have walked around and been afraid of what we'll see? But it's you. And
Yeah.
at the end of the book, it's you living out loud. It's you living in your purpose. It's you not apologizing. It's you being authentically you. And
Mhm.
at the end of the book, when you see it, you see him happy. He's got his cookies. He's got his stuff together. Like
Yeah.
that's what happens to us when we realize that we've been the monster. We've been that person that has allowed the world to put us in the box. That has
Right.
allowed the world to stop us from living out loud. And when
Mm-hmm.
you make the decision that guess what, I'm coming out from under these covers. I'm coming out of this trash can. I'm coming out of this. You gonna listen. You gonna stand up and you gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm the monster at the end of the book. And now the monster is no longer a threat to you.
Right.
Now it is a threat to everything that comes against you.
Mm.
Now it is a threat to the people who've been trying to put you in the box, who've been trying to cause you to have fear, who've been trying to cause you not to believe who you were. And now when you show up, they like, oh no, she ain't a monster, she's a beast. She don't play no games. Like she has evolved. She is somebody, and you can show up and be like, and they'll be like, whoa, who is that? And
Uh-huh.
they begin to know because
Uh-huh.
some people knew the whole time. Let's
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
Some people saw it in you,
Yeah.
but they didn't want you to know it because
Exactly.
guess what that would do? It would make them look small.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
will make them have to take the responsibility of them trying to hold you back.
Listen.
So,
Listen,
yeah.
Coach Q, it has been a pleasure having you here. This has been an awesome discussion, living out loud. Before I ask this question that I always ask my guests, tell the people how to connect with you and tell them how to go ahead and get on the waiting list for this book. Go ahead and plug this book. Tell the
Yes.
people how to connect with you and about this book.
Yes. So my ebook that's coming out, it's called Get Out of the Boat. Listen, it starts with the 5 ways to starting. A lot of times we concerned about the miracle of the walking on the water. We bring it up and, oh yeah, I can walk on water. But guess what? You had to be able to get out of the boat first. You had to take that first step. First things
Yes.
first. You didn't just show up out there in the middle of the water. He didn't just elevate and float and go out there. No, he had to take a step.
Yeah.
And so I tell you, take the step, follow me on Instagram at Hope Coach Q. I'm also Hope Coach Q at gmail.com to reach out to me. And I will reach out to you back. I have a link in my bio. You can click on it to get on the waiting list for the ebook. Some things are getting ready to happen. And if you need coaching, if you feel like, listen, I really need to talk to somebody, I'm about to start getting my calendar ready for my connection calls. Like, let's just have a conversation. Let's see if I'm the coach for you. Let's see if I can help you to elevate, to get to the next place where you need to be. There's also, when you sign up for the waiting list for the book, there's a portion that said, do you need coaching? And I will reply and we'll get together and go from there. So that's how you
Absolutely.
reach me.
And you guys, all of this information will be in the description box. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you go and look at that. Go ahead and connect with Coach Q. She is awesome. Y'all know. Y'all been watching. Y'all been listening. Y'all know. So make sure that y'all, connect with her and see if it's a good fit so that you can, go ahead and elevate to your highest self. So
Gotta go to the next level.
you have to. There's no elevation in the comfort zone. So you have to be you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
I tell people that all the time. So on a personal note, what
Okay.
would your now self tell your younger self about living out loud?
Ooh, that's big, girl. That's big. That's a lot to unpack right there. Yeah. Wow. My now self would tell myself to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. And I would tell myself, um, you are her. You are she.
Mm.
You are her. The thing that you think you're not, you are.
Right.
Embrace it. Keep going. Keep pushing. Get out of the boat. Because at the end of the day, you have the ability to walk on water. And
Oh,
even if you fall, even if you get scared, the God that you serve will not let you drown.
wow. That is so powerful. You guys, listen, rewind that if you're watching, just to hear her say that again. She has so much conviction, so much comfort, so much. Oh, I can't even. I don't get speechless often, but you just made me speechless. What you told your younger self, like get out of the boat, and the God that you serve will keep you from drowning. Wow. Hey, I don't have nothing else to say. Is there anything else you want to tell the listeners before we get off here?
Listen, I love you. I'm your inspirational hope coach Q. And if there's anything that I can do, to help anyone, I always will. But what I'm going to ask that you do is when you listen to this podcast, when you are listening to things that you want to help you, listen for yourself. Don't listen looking for something to help somebody else. Listen for you. Listen with an open mind and open heart. And I promise you, it will lead you to the next place that you want to go to.
Absolutely. So you guys have been listening to Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. We have been talking with Coach Q, the inspirational hope coach, and her words is all that you need to resonate. Like that is all you need to hear to, just get out of your own way, get out of the boat. And thank you guys for listening. Make sure that you like, share, follow, review. I am here every Thursday. You can catch my podcast on all podcast platforms. And you can also watch right here on YouTube. Till next time, thank you guys and be great.